Happens next, very, very unclear. We're still waiting for any kind of major political reactions to come in to his announcement.
Joining me live now is Bernard Tamas. He's a professor of political science at Valdosta State University. That's in the state of Georgia. He's also an expert on elections, electoral bias, and U.S. third parties. What do you make of this proposal from Elon Musk? How serious do you think he is? I mean, this is something that he announced, on a social media platform.
Well, this is a good moment for forming a third party. This is a time when a lot of Americans are deeply dissatisfied with politics as it currently stands. And so there actually is, it seems, this opening. The critical question is how exactly is he going to do it? We've seen a long line now of new third parties establish and then rapidly collapse afterwards. So the real question is how distinct he will be from these other cases, including Andrew Yang's Forward Party.
It feels like Americans are always unsatisfied with their parties. What is it about this particular moment, do you think, that makes the ground fertile potentially for a third party to really spring up?
Well, third parties in America have become important at moments of high levels of political polarization. That historically, that was their time. And you're seeing that very same dynamic right now. And you're seeing this kind of level of dissatisfaction that you wouldn't have seen if you go back 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So the moment is very much different. My impression is that the question really comes down to how well the third parties can tap in. There are a lot of obstacles for a third party to be successful in American politics that wouldn't be the same as, for example, within the UK.
Yeah, what are those obstacles? I guess, you have to think back maybe to 1992, Ross Perot getting a significant portion of the presidential vote there. Maybe Ralph Nader about 4 or 5% back in 2000. Why is it that it's so difficult in this particular system to really gain that foothold in U.S. politics?
Well, you'd actually have to look back because the examples you give were of successful third party or independent candidates for the presidency. And to really look at cases where third parties made an impact, it was all the way back in the 1910s.
Wow.
Where the attack was more on Congress and other positions. So this is something that Musk is focusing on that's smart. The problem in America is that the two major parties are so dominant that the cost is high for setting up a new party, cost is high for putting together campaigns. And what third parties need to do is they need to focus their strategy with the assumption that these major parties are not going to budge that much. And the focus has to be not on trying something idealistic like we're going to produce multi-party democracy, but in fact just to create disruption, to push issues in, and to force the major parties to respond.
I want to touch on something you said there, that you think that might be more success for these sort of third or fourth parties in Europe than in the U.S. And we've seen even in the UK in the last few days, in England, a new party likely springing up there, the success of the AfD in Germany. What is it about Europe, you think, where we see more of these types of offshoots?
Well, if you take the more UK example, I mean, our election system is not that much different from the UK in terms of running first past the post campaigns, but the difference really is the high level of cost. It's cost billions of dollars if you are going to challenge the major parties. And that's why you have to challenge them in a fundamentally different way. You have to go at them with the idea is to produce a disruption. And the focus has to be on the anger. The focus has to be on giving voice. And we're not seeing that yet. The argument that, well, I don't like Donald Trump's policies and he's increasing the deficit is an abstraction to most people. What it matters more is their anger about things like popular programs like Medicaid being cut and by prices continuing to go higher. And so what we haven't seen yet, it's at a very early stage. We haven't seen yet Musk actually produce a strategy that could possibly work, that could possibly have an impact.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, a lot of fallout still to come potentially from that one big, beautiful bill. Professor Bernard Tamas at Valdosta State University in Georgia, thank you very much.